Hello everybody, it is me, Game Penguin 21, and today, oh boy, it looks like it's time to talk about what happened last week. So, this is going to be probably a Tuesday video, but in an effort to try to get more videos out to you guys, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start producing videos for the Patreon. Unsure if I'm going to do this consistently, but I just have like 2 or 3 videos that I just don't know where to put in my current schedule. So what I would do in this context is put them unlisted onto the YouTube and then just put them up onto the Patreon. So that way you guys can go and watch those videos if you so choose. Those videos are not having anything to do with any of the salt related stuff, at least not really. There might be like 1 or 2 salt videos, but that's only because I can't fit them anywhere else. And I wanted to make videos on them. Maybe I'll release them eventually, but at least the other ones that are going to be there are going to be reviews on games that I'd really like. But again, I can't fit them into my schedule because there's so much that happens. And when I do finish them, they're just kind of all over the place. They're a little too rambly, or I just don't know where else to put them. So that might be a thing in the future. Who knows? But again, what has happened this week? Well, what has happened this week is, well, Gamescom. Gamescom decided to happen, at least over the course of this week. And I'm not sure if it's still going on to today. It might be over. It might not be over. But one of the bigger things to come out of this game, or of this Gamescom, was actually a couple of things. There is a Nate Shot video that I'm going to look at probably on Saturday when I have that there. But what has happened? Well, there was a ton of announcements here. One of the biggest things is Borderlands 4 that happened, but the big thing that we're going to be talking about, and that will take up the majority and the bulk of this video, will be Indiana Jones coming to PlayStation, which, oh boy, this is going to be interesting. But let's start off, of course, with the good shilling of just like, comment, and subscribing. Always helps the channel. But of course, we'll start off with Borderlands, what's happening here. So Borderlands 4 was actually announced in this context, and I wanted to at least highlight something very interesting here. Now, there is this, which is a little bit pixelated, and I'm sorry that I don't have a higher resolution for this particular one. Randy Pitchford, who I believe was one of the people who worked at Gearbox or worked on the Borderlands series, decided to say that they will look back on Steam in 5 to 10 years, and it will be a dying store, and other competitive stores will be the place to be from the track record that he has here. Now, of course, this is not what has happened. I mean, there was a lot of competition there, but that was basically said around 2019, which I think, if I remember correctly, right, the 2019 was actually around either the height of the Epic Games versus Steam kind of back and forth that was happening, as well as when all of the other publishers were like at the top of their game trying to get their platform to be number one. But in the end, decided to actually come crawling back, and now Borderlands 4 is also getting a Steam release. I just wanted to point that out because I think that is the most ironic thing in the first place. Just that, again, Randy Pitchford just basically said that, and here he is. Again, I'm not sure who that is. I'm 90% certain that he has to do with at least Gearbox, which is the people who made Borderlands 4. And of course, yeah, I know Borderlands the movie came out and it was sucked, and I'm like, yeah, everyone kind of knew that. But again, Borderlands 4, quite interesting. I don't know anything else about this, didn't really look up anything else, but I just wanted to point out that really interesting tidbit. So, I think we'll take a look first at the actual clip of 2 Xbox dudes that were kind of reacting to this whole opening night thing. We'll skip about halfway to when Jeff Keighley starts talking, just so that way I'm not like wasting your time. But basically, this is the part where Indiana Jones and the Great Circle just kind of talks about this, and this is the opening night of Gamescom.
But you're probably wondering when the game comes out, right? Well,
December 13th.
December 9th. I was off by 4 days.
there you have
That's
it.
why I'm 98%
Indiana Jones
right.
and the Great Circle is coming out this December for Xbox, Game Pass, and PC. But there is one more thing that Machine Games and Bethesda wanted to share with you about Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
Oh, man.
They just destroyed
The
themselves.
game's coming to PlayStation 5 in spring of 2025.
Oh, man.
All right,
They
before we
just
wrap up,
destroyed
Odell, we
themselves.
do have
Okay. So basically, that was the announcement. As again, just those two guys in particular that was going to go after that. I don't know who they are particularly. I know one of them, at least I recognize him from a bunch of podcasts. I don't know his name. But they basically just decided to say, hey, Xbox just decided to kill itself. Like, what? No, I mean, yeah, certainly it does suck that it might come to other platforms in the terms of if you're talking about, oh no, it's a PlayStation fanboy. Like, who the fuck cares? If it's a good game, why is it bad coming to other platforms? Like, why is that? I'm so confused as to this fanboy mentality of this. It's very confusing to me, where it's like, oh, they just killed one of the exclusives that they have this year. It's still going to be exclusive for about at least 6 months. From my knowledge here, because it goes from winter to at least spring, which they might even push that back more, so it might even be an entire year. But it at least has several months of exclusivity, and even then, it's still not exclusive because it comes to Steam. So why are you mad? Well, it's and also it's like one of those things where if you've ever heard of the meme of like, why do you have to be mad? It's only a game. Like, it's only a game, guys. It like stop with this whole thing of that. But this basically set the entirety of Xbox, Twitter, and stuff, and people like that on absolute fire today. Now, one of the big people that also did this was a game Dreamcast guy. My mistake. Dreamcast guy basically made an entire video on this. I don't want to look at it at all. I've seen enough people contact it and talk about it. We're just going to cover some of the Twitter stuff that I have here. And again, all of this is from last week. So again, these are a little bit old, but I wanted to talk about this because this is just really cool. Anyway, starting, of course, off with Gaz saying, Xbox fans, they fooled us all. Now the question remains, will you continue to fall victim to their lies? And no, that doesn't mean you switch to PlayStation and become another kind of victim. Join the resistance. Which, you sound like an edgy 12-year-old, and not in a good way. Like, to me, okay, I don't know how to put this, like, gently, but what are you fighting against? Fighting against what? The decision for the corporations to make more money? Because I guess, like, I don't even get what the problem, I don't even get what your, like, resistance is here. That, you're upset with them, like, lying to you. PlayStation and Xbox have both lied to everyone. And it's annoying that a lot of people are figuring this out. Like, look, if you don't want to get screwed over, get a PC, I guess. We have a ton of games over here. If you don't like either Xbox or PlayStation, or you want to stay on the one or the other, like, it's not. Jesus Christ. But of course, Mr. S-Class Prophet here, otherwise known as King Thrash, decided to, weigh in on the fact that Phil wasn't on stage to tell y'all India was coming to PS5 is crazy. That's wild as fuck. And all I have to really say about that is, continue to volcano, my dude. Continue to volcano. It's always nice to see you around. Nicola also then presented the clip that I presented at the top of this section here, saying King and Addict's reaction to the PS5 announcement is the greatest thing that has ever happened to screen recorders. The build-up was phenomenal. And yeah, absolutely, I did take this and basically took most of this out. Again, I took most of it away. It was just them, like, talking about the game, and it was whatever. So, yeah. With Porter Rock 77 coming back with is this real? And yeah, it's real. I mean, they can't really just, like, lie in the marketing. It just doesn't make any sense to do that. So, yeah. With Gaz being retweeted by Nicola saying the quick fist of they are not Starfield or Indiana Jones, and how, again, at the time, Phil Spencer probably meant that this wasn't going to happen, but he was, again, talking specifically about the 4 games at the time of which this interview was being maintained. He never said that they were coming out during that time, and the plans could have changed. I love the fact of when a person looks at something that is clearly older information, that they weren't planning on it, or it wasn't addressed in the actual topic, which this, technically speaking, really wasn't, because they only asked about, like, what 4 games at the time were coming to it. They were not lying. They basically were just skirting around the fact that it wasn't these 2 games that were coming, at least as of right now. So then Porter Rock comes back here again. I apparently just took a bunch of his stuff here with a, not gonna lie, but this is cold, ice cold. Even if I want to troll, I would have never said Microsoft would announce anything PS5 at an Xbox showcase. This was not actually an Xbox showcase as far as I could tell, because this was at Gamescom, which is about gaming in general. While it might be within like an Xbox like related thing, it wasn't a specific Xbox showcase that was there. It was just a showcase of upcoming Xbox's games that just happens to be at Gamescom. I think there's a clear difference there. But then he goes on to say, I think it's clear that this was done by design. It's a subliminal message to hardcore Xbox fans that their Xbox is dead. The new regime is in place. You're not getting your old Xbox back. The new way of Xbox is now. Can you just take off the tinfoil hat that you are clearly wearing in this? Like, what the fuck does that even mean? Like, a subliminal message that the Xbox way is dead? They already release all of their games on PC day one regardless, right? The Xbox has not had a true like exclusive game to their like exclusive platform in a long time, because they realize that they make more money by selling it to other places. Ooh, who would have known? If you put your product in front of more people, you have a more likely chance to get a person to buy it. Of course, the Red Dragon then comes around with the Indiana Jones and the Great Circle hits PS5 spring 2025. Whole slate. Cult said it was definitely an Xbox exclusive. Laughing, crying emoji. There's a reason why I don't talk about the Red Dragon anymore, and that's because all of his stuff is just the same. And it gets annoying. It's the same thing with Unleashed as well, where, yeah, if they come up in my feed, most certainly I will probably screenshot and talk about them. And I'm fairly certain Unleashed is having a fucking field day, or had a fucking field day throughout that whole week, and was riding off of that whole thing on Cloud 9. But I didn't see it, therefore, I don't give a shit. But he links to this article, and it's just like, dude, I don't even know if that article has that, but no, I know it does. I just noticed that it gets cut off at the end bit there. But the whole slate of Xbox games, Halo's not there. There's not a lot of games that are on that were Xbox exclusives that are coming to the PS5. Like, I'm fairly certain that PlayStation said that they're going to release the whole slate. Where was that same energy in that for like it coming to other platforms for PlayStation? Why do you continue to get upset about it, like games coming to there? But of course, for Tanga, I have to talk about him a little bit because there is this little story about Final Fantasy. This is the newest Final Fantasy that was a PlayStation 3 or not PlayStation 3, PlayStation 5 exclusive. The newest Final Fantasy one. I believe that's 17, 16, 17. One of the newest one, whatever the fuck the newest one is. Saying, why are PC gamers supposed to buy a PS5 again with that being on Steam? Where I believe that this is the Steam thing, because I did remember that I saw this on my Steam when I was like going through stuff with Vertanga coming back with it. There is no reason to own an Xbox or PlayStation 2024. Lol, these console manufacturers are going to port more to other platforms, which again, I don't think that that's entirely false, but again, I'm not sure how entirely true that is. I'm going to err on the side of I'll just play the games that I want to play on my PC and not worry about any of the other games that come out on other platforms because it's whatever. Yeah, a couple more littler stories to kind of close out this whole video here, saying, found a PS2 out by the dumpster, which I'm surprised you would throw away, if this thing works, like, I'm surprised the person would throw away a perfectly good PlayStation 2. Maybe it doesn't have the cords, but, I mean, that's still a pretty solid PlayStation 2. Also, really funny how this is by the dumpster, saying, notice how it doesn't come with games? And if you say that the PlayStation 2 doesn't have games, you're kind of insane. But, yeah, he pulled this thing out of the dumpster. Obviously, it's not going to come with games, you dumbass. He didn't buy it, he found it. There's a difference. And then someone by the name of Lise decides to come back with, here's a powerful infograph on which PlayStations have games, since apparently some of y'all need it. Saying that the PS2 has a pretty decent amount of games, PS1 has a pretty decent, PS2 has a lot, PS3 doesn't have a lot, PS4 has a lot, but PS5 doesn't really have a lot either. And this, I would say, is mostly true, kind of, but also not really. I mean, again, this is more of just like a meme-centric thing. But, again, I think you're missing the point here. While, yes, this person is like, oh, why doesn't it come with games? Well, they fucking found it in the dumpster. I think that that's more important than anything else. And I think that that'll really end up being the end-all, be-all that I have here. Because the other stuff that I have just continues to go off on Indiana Jones from Charlie Intel here, as well as a retweet, which is where I found it from Delta. And like you said before, with Game Pass over exclusivity, it chose Game Pass over exclusivity, blah, blah, blah. Again, we've gone over some of these things as well. And then I have a couple of extra things that I'll probably save for the Nade Shot video, because those things aren't really necessarily related to this thing. I also had some stuff from Reforge, but again, that probably deserves its own video, just like a retrospective Gamescom thing. But, I mean, again, that might be the Salt video that comes out on Patreon. Who knows at this point? And in any case, I think that'll about do it for this episode of I Talk About Twitter and what happened last week in the gaming community, because I am a weirdo on the internet. My name is GamePenguin21. If you like what it is that I do, want to support me in any other way, shape, or form, links down to everything in the description below. I have a Patreon, I have a Twitter, I have a Twitch, I have ways to, donate to me and get me things. I probably should also link my Throne down there, which is where you can, buy me stuff. And I don't know if you can put stuff on there. I don't think I left it open for that, but you can buy me things down there, like products and stuff. Maybe not, I'll put it there, but if it's not there, don't worry about it. In any case, so Indiana Jones is coming to the PlayStation circa spring 2025. Interesting developments. But again, like I said, thank you so much for watching, and a peace off.